Chairperson, dear colleagues, friends and students in the audience. I'm very happy to be here to share my understanding of Sanatana Dharma's philosophy of politics and religion, which is very important in the global context today. So, I'm Dr. Shantha Kumari from Pondicherry University, and this classical Indian thought is very comprehensive and holistic in its approach, and the benefits of these are both for the individual and the society, both material and spiritual, both for this life as well as hereafter. And at the outset, I would like to make this clarification that this Indian philosophy, what we call Hindu philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, Manava Samskriti, because it is intended for human beings, Sanatana Dharma because it is as ancient as humankind, and it is Vaidika Dharma because it is based on the Vedas. So here what it is intended is to help individuals live an enlightened life. The aim is know thyself. So the ancient Indian seers, rishis, whose meaning literally knowledgeable people and expert in any branch of knowledge, they explored the world around us and human nature. Externally, their search resulted in raising the levels of life, resulting in civilization, and the inner search into the three states of experience helped them discover Atman, Brahman, of the nature of consciousness, and Brahman, the same consciousness, is the substratum of the external world. So the highest reality is Brahman, consciousness of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda, existence, knowledge, bliss. Brahman because it is all-pervasive, Atman, all-pervasive, Brahman, it is big, and as the existence of the existence, all these objects around us, it is the substratum, the Adhisthana. And as Chaitanya in the Jivas, it is the reality, the self, Atman, which is all-pervasive. And there are these 5 koshas, the 5 layers, and the 3 bodies, gross, subtle and causal bodies, which are enlivened or which form the body, the physical body for the jiva, which is embodied, and it has to attain liberation. Now, what is it that we see? The rishis identify 2 kinds of knowledge. Knowledge which we get through the senses and mind related to the external world, what we get through the pramanas, is called lower knowledge. And knowledge of the self is called Paravidya or higher knowledge, and it is called Karaka Jnana or saving knowledge because it liberates person from sorrows of rebirth permanently, and it helps attain them eternal happiness or bliss. Now, this is called Raja Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya, Taraka Jnana, or God realization, self-knowledge. These are all the different terms. Now, Indian rishis have contributed to different branches of knowledge: architecture, science, art, values, religion and philosophy. These 2 are the most important areas where the most significant gift to humanity has been made. That is the Moksha Shastra. That is how to attain liberation. It is a science or phenomenology of experience, and it is a way of life. It is not a religion, because religions were not yet born. Religions came after the propounding prophets' advent. They taught their philosophies, like Christ was responsible for Christianity, or Prophet Muhammad preached Islam. So these founding prophets, after them came their religions. But if you ask in Hinduism, there is no one rishi or prophet. It is like a continuous stream of philosophical thought. Now, this philosophy is intended for live and let live. That is, it is based on the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that all the phenomena in the world, the conscious and the non-conscious, constitute one family, and it is for us to include that divinity, because we live life at three levels. As social being, we are social animals. As human beings, we are intellectual beings. But this is not the destiny of humankind, because we are fallen angels, and we have to realize that lost paradise or divinity that is within us. So we have the two margas, the Pravritti Marga, the path of activism, and the path of asceticism called the Nivritti Marga, for attaining the four values of life. Indian philosophy is essentially a philosophy of values. So we have Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha, the four Purusharthas. And these two paths, both are equally efficient in enabling us, provided we live responsibly as human beings, ethical human beings, to attain this goal. Now, if we presume that the whole of human life is for 100 years, it was divided into four ashramas or stages of life, where these purusharthas were allotted. At the brahmacharya stage, celibacy is the most important value. Grahastha, we have Artha and Kama within the limits of Dharma. Artha is all material goods, sense pleasure is part of Kama. So these have to be earned and enjoyed through the practice of Dharma, if it is to enable us attain moksha, which is the Parama Purushartha, the foremost goal of human life, because moksha, or permanent liberation from sorrow and attainment of happiness, is possible only in the human stage, not for animals or the devatas. Now, this is being made possible through two activities, as I told you, I have taken up, through politics and religion, which are important aspects of the human world. Now, politics and religion, they are part of ethics, and ethics is a part of philosophy. Metaphysics determines ethics, and metaphysics is justified by epistemology. See, for example, if we say avidya is the cause of bondage, then knowledge as the ethical sadhana becomes the means for attaining moksha. So we find that we have these dharma. Dharma is the most important factor, where, as one of the previous presenters said, there are different kinds of dharma. Stri Dharma, Purusha Dharma, Putra Dharma, Raja Dharma, Swadharma. Everybody's Swadharma ultimately. And that has to be done as Nishkama Karma, what Bradley calls as my station and its duties. So, we have here that Dharma, and Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decline in Dharma, he comes down on earth to set right the imbalance. Now, why is politics important? The stomach receives food, digests it, and it distributes it to the different organs of the body according to their need and requirements. So is the case with politics. Society, as you know, Indian society, there are 4 varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. Brahmanas, the intellectual class. This is a psychological division, not to be confused with jati or heredity. Then we have the Kshatriyas, the warrior class, the Vaishyas, the traders, and the labor class, the Shudras. So when these 4 Purusharthas and in the ashramas they are being sought after, there is a clash between individual rights and social rights of other people. Now, therefore, there arises a need for a king. Why? For example, if there are fishes and frogs and other aquatic creatures in a pond, and if one snake enters there, then the existence of all these creatures gets threatened. Similarly, if there is one person who is antisocial, then the peace of all the other social and rule-following people becomes difficult. So there is a need for a king who is selected on the basis of social contract to ensure that everybody does not encroach upon other people's rights, and they restrict themselves to their own duties and freedom. So we find that at the different stages, these Purusharthas for Vanaprastha is Dharma and Moksha, and sannyasa is the ultimate, is moksha. Now for the grihastha, there are 3 rinas. No individual is born free. They inherit 3 debts: Pitru rina, Deva rina and Rishi rina, for repaying which they have to practice Panchamahalyajnas. And these sort of activities, that is worshipping God to pay Devarina, taking care of elders in the family, and offering oblations to the departed as part of Pitrurina, and producing children to continue the family and to populate the society. That is Pitru Yajna. Then Rishi Yajnas, self-study, Swadhyaya of scriptural literature, to tell us that all this appearance is not reality. There is a higher truth behind, and we have to pursue that. Unless we know that we are in bondage, this world is so full of deception and delusion that we do not even know that unless we are told about the higher values, then there is the possibility for permanent escape from sorrow and attainment of happiness. So we have to study these scriptures to gain confidence in the path that we are pursuing, and to know how to attain that highest reality. So now this state has 7 limbs. The king is the head, the ministers are the ears, the spies are the nose, the treasury is the stomach, the state, the legs, and the fort, the defense, are the arms. And the king has to function as a mother, father, guru, brother, Vishnu, Kubera and Yama. That is mother, compassion for love and affection for his people. The father is protective. The guru for kinship, giving values and guidance for the higher aspects of life. Brother for brotherhood. Vishnu for preservation. Yama for justice and Kubera for prosperity of the state. So it is the function of the king to ensure all these functions, and he has to be counseled by wise ministers, and it is believed that where kings are working in accordance with the guidance of wise ministers, the devatas dwell there and there is peace and prosperity. So, the king is God in human form. He has to be virtuous, a scholarly person, and ethical values also. Conduct is very important. So, these are the functions of the king for making a heaven on earth. Now, what is religion? Religion has got two meanings, a narrow meaning and a wider meaning. Narrow meaning is we worship a personal God called Ishta Devata. Sir was talking about Brahman, two levels. The highest reality is God consciousness. So that highest reality, two levels. A cosmic view or the Nishprapancha Drishti, it is called Nirguna Brahman, that is God in the reality in itself. And when we take the cosmic view or the Saprapancha Drishti, it becomes God in relation to, like you are a person, but brother, sister or daughter or neighbor or teacher or student, depending on the person with whom you are related. So the same God, the same reality is called by different names in different religions. Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. And this is the reason why, although God created us, there are two kinds of Srishti. Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. In Advaita we make this distinction. God created world is the elemental material world made up of the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. But we convert these into objects of bhoga or enjoyment. These are Jiva Srishti, Jati, Kula, Dharma. All these are human creation. And having created this, we have been caught up in all this Jiva Srishti. So even giving a name and form to God is a human activity, and so Ishta Devata, we give that God a name and a form according to our choice, and just as we enjoy worshipping God in a particular form, that God also enjoys the worship offered by the devotee in whichever form the devotee chooses to approach the Lord. So we have the four margas, all intended to attain the same goal, because the purpose of religion is to unite the devotee with God. So the four paths are the karma marga or the path of action, bhakti marga or the path of devotion, dhyana marga or the path of meditation, and Jnana Marga or the path of knowledge. Here there are, why this many paths? Because of different mentalities. Each human being thinks differently. We are all human beings. As human beings we are equals. But the differences among us arise because of samskaras or mental attitudes. So for the people who are having lot of likes and dislikes, karma marga. For the emotional, bhakti. For the people who can concentrate, devotion, that meditation, and the path of knowledge for those who can rationalize and discern between the good and the bad, the eternal and the non-eternal. And in the Bhakti Marga also, we have 4 different bhavas. Dasa Bhaga, or the servant master attitude. The Jiva is the servant and God is the master. Satputra Marga, the soul or the individual is the son of God, or the devotee can visualize God as Balakrishna, Balaganapati, or you reduce God to the form of a baby and you show devotion to God. Then we have Satputra Marga, son-father attitude, what I told you. Then Nayaka Nayaki Baba, or bridal mysticism. So the Sakha Marga, friend like Krishna and Arjuna, or Uddhav and Krishna. So these are the 4 different margas which we can practice to attain God. And the methodology of religion is Shraddha and Bhakti. And that of philosophy is Tarka and Yukti. So questioning is possible in philosophy, but not in religion, which are matters of faith. And philosophy operates on the basis of questioning, but questioning is not possible in religion because they'll be branded as heretics and kafirs or doubting Thomases. So the methodology cannot be interchanged, but the beauty in Indian philosophy, it is a combination of both religion and philosophy, where you can question, you can criticize and still be alive without being beheaded or slit at the throat. So there are different attitudes to religion. We tolerate, we accept, or criticize other religions depending upon the mentalities of the devotee. Now we have to see this. Ritualism, then mythology and philosophy, all these are aspects of religions, and these 3 components are different in different religions. This is the reason why there is no agreement between religions, because of differences in these. So what is a myth to a non-believer is real, is God to the devotee. Just few minutes, ma'am. And so we have that religion where we have symbols to represent the reality to the devotee. They like road signs. Okay, the national flag of a country, we salute it. It is only a bit of cloth with different colors and designs, but it represents the nation. Similarly, Christ is not that bit of wood, temple is not Ishvara, mosque is not Allah. They only represent, and they are symbolic, and we have to go beyond symbols. And what is important is ethics. Ethics need not be religious. A person can practice ethics but still be a perfect gentleman. But religion cannot be without ethics. We cannot be unethical in our conduct and sanctify all misdeeds in the name of religion. This is where we have to make a distinction between pseudo-religion and real religion. In pseudo-religion, it appears as religion, and it appears to, although religion does not preach violence, it apparently seems to sanctify the misdeeds of its fanatics. So this is the problem with the world everywhere, where countries are burning everywhere. Today in the newspapers we are reading as headlines. So the real religion, we sacrifice ourselves for others. So compassion and love for the suffering humanity, respect and reverence for nature, this is the hallmark of a real religion, and we find that what these fanatics do is they are not able to tolerate other religion. They say God is ordaining the destruction of those who follow him or worship him under other names. So if that kind of a God says go kill, vandalize and burn and break, then how can God be a compassionate, perfect God if he is given to the same weaknesses like ordinary human beings? So this is something that we have to be guarded against, and there are changing and permanent aspects. Truth is one, but the changing aspects are the dress, food that we eat, the symbols that we wear, or the places of worship, rituals, all these. These are conventional. So the changing aspects are the most, volatile material on which there are global fights, on which people disagree, and there are violent wars all across. So the mystic aspect, the mystic element, that is what is the core of religion. Ethics is the core of religion. Experience of God, self-realization, knowledge, that is highest experience. All others are peripheral. So we had to identify the core aspect and the changing aspect. Changing aspects have got nothing to do with religion because they are determined by the geography, economics, cultural, political, social criteria. So religion is entirely different. It is for self-improvement. It is not for imposing it on others or for judging others whether they are pious or not. So we have to be very careful when we handle religion. Religion is like fire. It helps you keep warm, cook food. But if we are careless, it can burn the whole house down. Today, religion is being used as a toy by politicians for spreading violence across the globe. And what was intended to make human life comfortable is now the cause of the destruction of humankind. And so the problem now with globalization is excessive pursuit of materialism and indulgence in sense pleasure. They are not bothered about moral values and no regard for God or any other such higher values of life. Therefore, what we need is this Indian philosophy, which is timeless. It needs to be revisited and re-explored for identifying gems of truth and insights for making human life better. So it is universal in application, and it is humane. It is intended for all. It tells you live, let others live. Sacrifice yourself for the others. So we have to make a sincere attempt to identify what is the shreyas and the prayas, the good and the pleasing, and accept the good wherever it is for the betterment of our own life and the society in which we live.